Hey yo, it's Guido coming at you with a World of Tanks replay. Welcome back. On this episode, we have the Ominator. Sounds ominous, from Clan FG with Dark B 2B. I think I've had a Dark B replay before, but he's in his AC-48 for Dark B and the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105, which is a pretty good German Tier 8 premium casemate TD. Has a darn accurate gun, and the shell velocity is amazing. It's like a laser. They are here on whatever this place is called, Live Oaks. So he sent this in to me, and he said, hey, it is a close one. I seek your advice. What could I have done potentially to make this a win? Watched it, and it is an interesting one, so I wanted to feature it. Mainly because it speaks a lot to the mid to late gameplay that is such a big part of the difference between a 45% and 65% player. How many of these close mid to late game types of games can you turn in your favor by your personal skill at playing the game? So the Ominator is going to come up here and knock down some trees and immediately get spotted, more than likely by the Senlac, who's more probably YOLO'd up the middle, and the 12T, which has gone into the city. The 12T is interesting because he's going to whine about people not shooting guys that he lit up. There's the artillery. So right off the bat there, Ominator, obviously be careful about getting spotted. That's an obvious place. I move my scouts up so I can light that place as well. So he's down there about probably D4, maybe C4 and 5, somewhere in that area. So Ominator decides to not go there, and also you're split from your platoon mate. So I would try to stick together. Casemate TDs aren't that easy to use over on the tracks, but the two of you together can be a pretty good deterrent to anybody trying to push up and over any of the ridges back there if you're both back there. It is hard to get set up in a place where you can't get spotted, though. That is a danger. There is 2 artillery, but it looks like you've decided to not sit up on that hill. Your team has more or less abandoned that middle part of the map, and that is a bit dangerous. Look at these jumps. That's one of the cool things about this TD is it is fast. You're going to come leaping off this. I would be careful with that. It's easy to shave off some hit points doing that kind of thing right now. If you get a little sideways at all, you're going to lose 100, 200 hit points doing that kind of thing. Works out for you, though, so we move up, and you can tell that the enemy team has sent nobody down here. So now we have to start shifting more to a mid-game mentality. Usually there's a brawl down there, right? On the corner, on the tracks down here, there's usually a nice brawl, but it looks like the enemy team has sent nobody there. So now some decisions have to be made. It looks like we're doing okay in the city, but that's not going to last long because they've invested heavily into it. Right now, this is not a bad idea. Let's see if we can get to their cap, kill any campers who may be hanging out there. We have all kinds of firepower, so whatever gets lit should go away pretty quickly. But we also have to start thinking about, all right, what am I going to do about the cap if it gets threatened? What's going on in the middle of the map, and where are all of the enemy tanks? Are they all in the city, or have they posted up somewhere in the middle, and it turns out they have a good number of them are still hanging out in the middle. Now what these guys in the middle are doing, and there is the Progetto who lights up the Sturv. We failed to kill the Sturv. We're going to show you that in just a minute. That plays into a big part of how we lose this game right here. But this is actually in pretty good shape. This game is well winnable. But we're now into that mid to final phase, mid to end phase of the battle. What do we do? How do we make sure that that is done correctly so we win? You might look at it and go, well, Guido, it's still the opening phase because it's 12 minutes. And there's all kinds of tanks left, except that we have a situation map control wise that is more mid to late game. So we just happen to have more guns on the board for that portion of the battle. So let's see how we do this. We've got a lot of tanks, so for the moment, hanging out back here with our TDs is fine. We had all kinds of targets, and this is what I was talking about earlier. We push in and we kill anything that's camping in the back. And the reason we can do it and don't have to go back to cap is because for the moment, our city guys are doing fine. Shift over a little bit. There we go. And I thought, wow, we're going to get this Sturv dead. If only your Artie had actually shot at the near-dead Sturv. They're probably shooting at artillery and everything else. Your buddy takes down the Artie, and wow, aren't we in good shape? 5-1. All right, we're definitely starting to have a problem up in the town. We do own their east side, but we're not able to get on cap. Why? Because there's a Sturv and probably another couple TDs back here on this hill or in these buildings back in here. How do we get rid of those guys? Well, somebody has to get forward and spot them. Let's watch what happens here. The Progetto is doing it, and he's in the right spot to do it, so he's trying to see if he can find it. And then we find some more targets. The Charioteer moving in, so that's fine. They have responded. The enemy team is sending some back. We're starting to lose in the town. That's not going to last very much longer. So we push in here. I don't know why you pushed in. You didn't really need to. You had shots back there. Now you're just asking to get spotted by the Sturv or somebody else. But it looks like maybe you've decided to go into this corner, and holy cow, now things are going bad. Oopsie, the Senlac got through. That is the problem with leaving the middle completely unattended like that. He's moved through and caused problems. He's causing well more problems than the weight and gun of his tank, just by where he is and who he's killing, taking out your artillery back there. I don't know how you do this, but you did it several times in this game. Good on you. That is not something I can do with a moving TD, but holy cow, nicely done on that shot. Wiggle jiggle, trying to not get killed. Looks like someone took a stab at you or maybe somebody else, but they missed. And now we have repositioned. All right, so let's look at this. We went from a way-winning situation to a neutral to slightly losing situation. The Senlac has cleaned up artillery. He's going to be a problem back there. And it looks like, is that what? Yeah. Your platoon mate and the Su-101 have responded, and it looks like now, I'm assuming you have voice comms, you are now going back to help back them up. Meanwhile, the Progetto is over there trying to figure out where the Sturv is. So, the way you win this little area over here, once you take it the way your guys have, is not sit behind this track going, herder, I'm hold down, let me just wait for them to come. Especially if they own the area where the Progetto is and the Sturv, which they do right now. The Progetto is at least they're trying to find him, but for the moment it looks like he cannot. The enemy team is going to be coming back from the city across this area. You need a spotter up in here posted up to help see what they're doing, especially their snipers, so their snipers don't sit back here having free shots on your guys. So the first order of business is try to find this Senlac and make sure they haven't pushed hard into your cap. I think I would have continued. Let's just go ahead and get going with the replay here. You're going to head this way and then turn back around. I think I would have continued with my buddies, but it looks like the Su-130 is lit, and we don't even investigate it. Do we have a shot? Doesn't look like it, but you're not even responding to the light on the map right there. Do we have a shot now? Oh, no, it just went away. We may have had a shot in a couple spaces right there. And we're going to lose some time because we take a poor line right here. I don't know why you would have stayed on the right of the train. I would have gone to the left of it. See how the tracks are much wider over there and you can get through, and we lose a lot of time futzing around with this. We attempt to go through and we drive up on it. Thank goodness we didn't get sideways and stuck. And then we go, yeah, we're going through, and then we say, oh no, that's not going to work, and we're going to try again. Nope. So we back out and we get stuck. And we reorient, and now we get... Meanwhile, the team is fighting, and we have not taken a shot. All right. All that being said, you had two options. Go all the way back here with these guys, or push up with the Progetto with your fast tank and decent hit points, and try to find these guys who are hanging out right here. In addition to that, you'll notice, we'll get there in just a second, I want to show the building up here, which is a great fighting position. The enemy team typically holds it. Looks like we made another decision to go back this way. I'll show it to you in just a minute. I think you know what I mean. Near where the Progetto is, there's a building that has some bushes, and you can protect yourself back there. And all of a sudden, we've gone from winning to slightly losing to losing, based on positioning. If the enemy team had simply come at your three guys, this would have been all over. But we have a situation here, and this is fairly typical of TD players in general, and people who are playing TDs because of the mindset that they try to take on when they're playing a TD, that they're the second line sniper schnitzel, and somebody needs to go up and spot. Somebody. All right, you don't have a scout. You don't have a scout, but you are the scout of necessity, because if you're going to win these mid to late tier or mid to late games where the game is in the balance, you have to do it. You cannot trust your team. So you don't be foolish, but right here, you spent so long driving across that ridge, there's nobody up here. I'd have gone right to this building and taken this building. Just move up to this building, take it. You got bushes right and left. You might have found some of these guys up on these hills or hanging out back here. But what we do instead is we find this little bush, and we're sniper schnitzel, right? I'm a sniper, Emil's a sniper, Su-130, everyone's a sniper. We're all snipers. The problem is, sniper quit sniping. There's nobody up there to spot, unless they make themselves available. Now, this is a nice shot, actually. Boom. That was a huge kill. And you may have been thinking at that moment, while I was yapping about you need to be moving up, they still got that Senlac. I really don't want to go challenge this Senlac. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see how it goes. The AT-15 makes a bit of a mistake moving in. He's probably wondering, how come my team is not following me up? That's a bummer. You end up missing. No idea how this Emil survives fighting this AT-15. They're face hugging, so he must not be able to get his gun far enough down. Another miss. That's a bummer, but down he goes. Fantastic. Okay, not bad. We're 10 and 9. Your platoon mate has moved up into a strong position. The Su-101. We've got these guys surrounded. Our problem is that we're not strong in any one direction, but we do have all kinds of crossfires. But in order to make a crossfire matter, I have to see them. I've got to spot them. You are the scout of necessity, all right? The scout of the future. I would have pushed up right here and immediately gone down low, got it behind this building right here, and start finding these dudes. So we're going to hang out here. And the good news for us is pretty quickly the defender makes a mistake and he decides to push on in. And that's the problem really with that kind of mindset of I'm second line sniper, I don't want to risk my TD, I'm going to hang out in the back. Occasionally the enemy makes a mistake and sends a guy YOLOing forward and we're able to get some damage. And we just continue to hope, hey, that worked. Let's just continue to hope that they're dumb and do stupid things some more. Like this defender, who is on top of the road for some reason. A rust shot. I think you needed more lead fire on that. That's unfortunate. And he gets low, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why he does this, but maybe they saw the AC. I don't know what went through his mind to do that, but the good news is it did. And down goes the defender. And all of a sudden, oh, fantastic. Now we're winning. And now is the time to grab the bull by the horn, grab the enemy by the throat, and push the advantage. The 3 are there. The 1 is there. We're near dead, but we need to find these guys in the middle between you, who's probably got a reloaded AC-48 ready to roll on your platoon, your gun, and these guys. Push up to that building. You have to be careful because the IS-3 could potentially get shots on you right there. But it is a little difficult for him because he's dealing with the road. He ends up killing the Emil-1. Unfortunately, that is a big bummer. But we're just going to, again, we're going to go passive. Just going to go passive. There's going to be another opportunity here as well. One thing about moving up while there's a fight, most everyone's looking at the fight. Most everyone's looking at the fight. They get that tunnel vision on what's happening, and they're not paying attention to the rest of the map. You need to widen your aperture in a situation like this so that you're watching everything that's going around you, and then you take advantage of those things. When the AT was fighting, when the IS-3 was lit, when the defender was fighting, and people were shooting and lit, that was your opportunity to move forward while the enemy team is not paying as close of attention. Sometimes you get unlucky, and one of those guys is. But in general, as you can see, your almost entire team was staring at those two guys. The TS-5 takes on the Su-101. Su-101 gets a shot. Looks like your friend's trying to help. There's your next opportunity. I guarantee you a couple of those guys have spun around and they're attempting to get shots on whatever that fight is going on right there. Go. This thing is so fast. That's the other beauty about this tank. That's why I'm saying you're the snipe. You're the scout of the moment, okay? You're the scout of destiny at this point. You've got to get up there and start lighting guys. And unfortunately, he's about to kill your Su-101. And nobody does anything. Well, we do that, though. The Su-130, though, unfortunately, it looks like the AC was making a move to try to help against the TS-5. And this guy camping up there, but he dies. All right, once again, go. Go, go, go. That's another opportunity right there. I don't know why this Su-130 hasn't grabbed a bush. He's just sitting down that low spot. Bit of muppetry right there. That's why I was talking about earlier, it would have been nice if you could have got that Sturv out. If you'd have pushed up with that Progetto earlier when he was wounded. They don't travel very fast unless they go to travel and bogey out. I bet he didn't bogey out very far. Although at this point now, they're counting noses. And when I watched this replay the first time, I went, well, I know what's going to happen here. They just killed the only two guys that were behind him. I'm pretty sure they've had all of you lit over here and figured that's probably where the 3 of you are. And if you are going to get back to the cap, you're going to have to go the long way. I imagine the TS-5 and maybe the Sturv are headed towards your cap, with the IS-3 hanging out right there, covering their cap. Now they've got a good situation for that. And it's possible they could jump on and cap out before you can get back. Really, the only tank you have that's fast enough is you, and maybe the Su-130. maybe the Su-130, especially if they both jump on at the same time. So I'm going to speed this up because not much happens right here. So that's what I'm talking about, this whole replay review. You asked me what it was that you could have done. There were multiple options in there for you to get a little more aggressive, not YOLO, but to get a little more aggressive, get up in there and take out certain tanks that were isolated or wounded or in positions that needed to be taken out. And I see this over and over again with TD players mainly and people playing TDs. And I differentiate that a little bit because not everybody's a TD player. In fact, probably most World of Tanks players play everything, a little bit of everything. Some people consider themselves a TD main, RD main, whatever. But often, more often than not really, when people play TDs, they bring in that TD mentality, which is not a bad thing, because in a glass cannon like this, you don't want to go play like a heavy tank. Got it. You don't want to go up front, but you do need to bring your gun into the game. And sometimes the game gives you lemons, and you've got to make lemonades, multiple lemonades. You got to make lemonade out of lemons, and you are the scout of necessity, or you are the heavy of necessity, or even you're the TD of necessity in a medium. That kind of stuff that you need to watch out for. Those opportunities, those situations where the team needs you to do something. If not you, then who? If not you, then who? This was crazy. Did he? I didn't notice that. Anyway, someone else can look at it. It looked like maybe your gunner got killed or something there. That was really weird how the dispersion went. Maybe he hit you and killed your gunner. And they both went to the cap, didn't they? The Sturv and the TS5. Now you get away with one here. This actually blew my mind. You don't even attempt to peek through the bush. You just turn around and go at him. It was a nice job, actually, of making him think you were going to come around that way. And a good job of being dark before you turned around so he didn't have a good essay of what you were doing. And then you just came back the other way and shot him on the run. That was unbelievable. Nicely done, though. You got away with it for sure. So we've got the S1 and the TS5 dead, and now it's just this IS3. And now we have the Heartbreaker, folks. We're just going to speed this up. Comes in here, wiggle jiggle. I was kind of wondering why he might go this way. I might have sat at the cap, but it's looking like, oh, low seconds. He just wants to get the win. Watch this. Oh, he got missed. Somebody shot at him. We're going to come up. We find him. He's on a reload. And, oh, no. Lower plate, man. This is one of those very reasons why I don't like these longer range shots. This is a situation where a full zoom into his lower plate would have made that as accurate as possible. As far as an aiming point, now don't settle down, Francis. I got it. It doesn't make it more accurate. It makes the mouse actuator's positioning more accurate. So you can go right to the center of that lower plate and squeeze that off. And more than likely with this gun, this dude goes down. Now, it is a 413 hit point guy. What is the alpha on this? 390? You were going to need a high roll, but with a little luck, you've been able to take that down. But as it was, you were further out, like, I don't know, about here or so when you took that shot. It was actually aimed at the upper plate. It bounced like you would expect, and bummer. Are we going to get away? Yeah, we'll just sneak down here. He won't get us right. No worries. Oops. I like how he didn't even move. He just sat there. I mean, he just pixel sniped the very top of that low slung tank. Didn't even make an effort to move forward to get a better shot. That's a bummer, man. That's a heartbreaker. So yes, to answer your question, were there things you could have done? I think there were multiple things, and it all stemmed from that mid to late game decision making. And strangely, in this game, mid game came with a lot of guys still really on the board, just based on where everybody was position wise. A picture that you see later in a picture you see with fewer tanks later in a game than you did in this one, just based on the initial positioning of the tanks. And you flexed back to a very, very passive mindset. And I think because you're a skilled player, you could have been a little bit more aggressive in trying to find a few of their tanks at certain points that I talked about, remove them from the board, and help facilitate damage and help facilitate your team's win. As it was very close anyway. It was a well-played game, very patient. That last one was a technical error in aiming as far as I'm concerned. You would have needed a high roll and some luck with RNG, but there you go, ended up losing it in defeat. I will say this, good on you for trying to win and not just sitting in a bush until the very end. Coming around here and looking for the IS3. How weird is it that you actually ran into him? just where he played. He went to the city, he came back, he camped at his cap the whole time. Once they were all dead, he actually fought, I think, your two guys and beat them. So good on him for that. And then when he saw you fighting down at the cap, he comes around this way. But I wonder if he was just sitting in that bush or if he drove into it. The way he's sitting there makes me think that he's been sitting in that bush since he got there, waiting for you to come this way. Anyway, that's all I've got, man. Thanks for sending in. I think it was a great discussion on mid to late game decision making and how it is that you pull those games out. And really, it's one of the big differentiators between a 45 and that 45 to 65% win rate. It's when you have an opportunity to make this kind of game swing in your favor. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you.